She was stuck in her own armor, until a human accidentally poked the right spot by mistake. The distress beacon had been pulsing for 3 standard cycles before the human salvage vessel Wandering Star picked it up. Leonardo Martinez, junior technician and perpetual optimist, was the first to spot the faint signal on the edge of the Kepler Nebula. "Captain, we've got a live one," he called out, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "Looks like a Thalorian fighter drifting near the asteroid field." Captain Reeves grunted. "Thalorians don't send distress signals. Their honor code forbids it." "Well, someone's breaking protocol then," Leonardo replied, already plotting an intercept course. 20 minutes later, Leonardo found himself suited up and mag-locked to the hull of the sleek, crystalline fighter. Thalorian vessels were works of art, bioorganic ships that responded to neural commands. This one, however, looked wrong. Its usual luminescent glow was dim, pulsing weakly like a dying heartbeat. He cycled through the airlock and immediately noticed her. The Thalorian warrior was trapped inside her own combat armor, frozen in a half-crouched position in the center of the cockpit. Her forearms were locked at awkward angles, 2 reaching for controls she couldn't quite touch. The others bent behind her back. Through the translucent faceplate of her helmet, Leonardo could see her large amber eyes wide with what he recognized as panic, and perhaps humiliation. "Oh, wow," Leonardo breathed. "Okay, hello? Can you hear me?" The warrior's eyes darted toward him. A clicking sound emerged from her suit's external speakers, the Thalorian speech, which his translator struggled to process before finally rendering. "Human. Leave. This is shameful. You've been broadcasting a distress signal for 3 days," Leonardo said gently, approaching with his hands raised in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "I'm Leonardo. I'm here to help. I require no help from—" The warrior's proud declaration was cut short by another series of clicks that the translator interpreted as frustrated cursing. "The armor malfunctioned during combat. I defeated 3 pirates, but the emergency protocols locked." Leonardo circled her carefully, examining the ornate armor. It was a masterpiece of Thalorian engineering, adaptive plating that could shift from flexible to rigid in microseconds, responding to threats. Except now it had apparently decided everything was a threat. "What's your name?" he asked, pulling out his diagnostic scanner. A long pause. Then quietly, "Katniss. Shield Commander Katniss of the 7th Fleet." "Well, Shield Commander, let's see what we can do." Leonardo knelt beside her, running the scanner over the armor's surface. The readout was gibberish. Thalorian biotech was notoriously incompatible with human systems. "Your people couldn't talk you through this remotely?" "The malfunction? Severed neural connection," Katniss admitted. "The armor no longer recognizes me as its wearer. It believes it is under attack from me. The irony is—" She made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. "Considerable." Leonardo sat back on his heels, thinking. He'd worked on dozens of alien systems, but Thalorian tech was different. It wasn't programmed, it was grown. Organic. Almost alive. "Okay, so if it thinks you're a threat, we need to convince it otherwise," he mused aloud. "What would reset the recognition protocols?" "Nothing short of a full system reboot, which requires the armor to believe the wearer is safe. Which I cannot signal because it will not listen to my—" Katniss stopped. "This is circular logic. I have been trapped in circular logic for 3 days. Leonardo could hear the exhaustion in her voice. 3 days locked in rigid armor, unable to move, barely able to breathe fully. He felt a surge of sympathy. "All right, let's try something dumb," he said, standing up. "Human dumb, specifically." "I am not certain that is reassuring." Leonardo ignored her, walking around to examine the back of her armor. There, a seam where the dorsal plates met, right between where her shoulder blades would be if she were human. The bioplating pulsed weakly there, almost like— "Do Thalorians have any kind of relaxation response?" he asked. "Like a physical trigger that makes you calm down?" "We have pressure points used in meditation," Katniss said slowly. But the armor would never allow. Leonardo wasn't listening. He was remembering his xenobiology training, the lecture on Thalorian physiology. The instructor had mentioned something about a neural cluster, a vestigial organ from when their species was prey rather than predator. A spot that, when pressed, triggered an involuntary relaxation response. It was supposed to be right about here. He pressed his gloved thumb firmly into the seam between the armor plates. Katniss made a sound like a startled bird. The armor rippled. What? How did you? Katniss's words tumbled over each other as the rigid plating suddenly flowed like liquid, retracting smoothly into its resting configuration. Her arms dropped to her sides. She stumbled forward and Leonardo caught her instinctively. Easy there, he said. You've been locked up for a while. Katniss straightened, her full height easily exceeding his by a foot. She flexed all four arms experimentally, then reached up to remove her helmet. Her face was angular and elegant, covered in fine scales that shimmered iridescent in the cockpit's low light. Those amber eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made him take an involuntary step back. You found my Clithsara, she said, her voice filled with wonder. Humans know of the Clithsara? The what now? The calm center, she gestured vaguely at her back. The place you touched. It is ancient biology. Most modern Thalorians do not even know we possess it. How did you know? Leonardo grinned sheepishly. Lucky guess. I remembered something from a class about pressure points and I just poked around until something worked. Katniss stared at him. Then to his surprise, she began to laugh. A chittering musical sound. A human. I was rescued by a human who poked around. The 7th Fleet will never let me hear the end of this. If it helps, I can tell them I used advanced xenobiological techniques and sophisticated— No, Katniss said firmly, but her eyes were bright with amusement. No, Leonardo Martinez of the Wandering Star. We Thalorians value truth above pride. I was stuck in my own armor like a hatchling in an egg, and a human freed me with a lucky poke. She placed one hand over her chest in what he recognized as a salute. I owe you a life debt. Oh, that's really not— It is necessary, she insisted. And perhaps— She tilted her head, studying him with those unsettling eyes. Perhaps humans are more remarkable than we believed. You saw what warriors and engineers could not. You acted where others would have hesitated. Leonardo felt his cheeks warm. I help people. That's what we do. Yes, Katniss said softly. That is precisely what humans do. We have noticed this about your species. It is why you are both feared and admired. As Leonardo helped her secure her ship for towing, he couldn't help but feel that something had shifted. Not just between him and Katniss, but something larger. A small moment of connection across the vast divide of species and culture. Sometimes, he thought, the galaxy didn't need advanced technology or ancient wisdom. Sometimes it just needed someone willing to reach out, even if they were just poking around hoping to help. Human. Fuck. Yeah.